You are elegance and freedom. You're everything I know. So come on in. Baby, let your hair down. Let me run my fingers through. We can be ourselves now. Anyways, okay, what message do I have for the general collective right now? A lot has been going on. A lot of downloads, a lot of free energy. I want to call it free energy, okay? And I know some of you come on my platform and maybe I'm not for you, and that's okay. I just want to let you know that there's something for you out there, whatever spikes your interest, whatever brings you joy, anything like that. So basically, let me get to the point. There's a lot of people that suffered a lot of things, especially in their childhood, okay? And I want to discuss a little bit of this. This may be triggering to some of you, so if you're not into that, just if you haven't healed a few aspects that are really, really sensitive, like sensitive topics, just, you don't have to watch this video. But I understand fully. I myself went through some things as well, okay? We're not going to get into detail of what you've been through or what I've been through, but the people that have gone through the most traumatic experiences that still chose the root of their heart chakra, okay? Let's put it that way. That still chose to love unconditionally, that still chose to do the best and be the best that they can within their capacity, that still chose a higher form of self, that still chose to rise up. And even those that struggle with self-love, those that are still finding it hard to reconnect with their inner child, you're still doing a good job, okay? All right? And what I want to say right now is even celebrities, even just random general public, anybody like that's gone through traumatic things, that they're now in their adulthood, okay? And they were like the pioneers. They're like the rainbow warriors. They fought so fucking hard, and they're still here doing what they can to spread the message, or to at least get it out there, whether it be artistically or just spoken word, or whether they be writers and they're writing books about their own experience and what they've been through, and anything traumatic that they experience, that they come up out of, all the healing that they've done within themselves on their journeys. All right, they're the pioneers. They're the ones that are meant to be here at this very moment. And you'll find that a lot of people that were at the bottom, that were treated a certain way, even though they chose love, even though they're vessels of love, they were getting stepped on. They were used as scapegoats. They were used as a means for other people not to do their healing work. A lot of projections placed on them. Their shoulders were big. And in that, I don't necessarily mean physical. Their shoulders were big, as in they could carry the burdens of which that some people know nothing about. And I'm not just talking about their own journey that they had to go through, their own lessons that they came here specifically for, but other people's as well. And so when they started to come up out of it, and they started waking up, and they started to put healthy boundaries down, and they started to do the shadow work, go within and heal little aspects of themselves here and there, through meditation, through transmutation of negative energy into positive, that alchemy to turn it from a horrible, traumatizing thing, something that triggers them, into something creative, into something of a lesson learned, so that they could get their blessings. Those are the individuals that I'm speaking to right now. You didn't suffer in vain. Everything that you went through was meant to happen that way, because we were building a case. So let's look at it as if it were to be a legal standpoint, so to speak. I want to take my boots off right now, and I want to sit cross-legged to get comfortable for this, because I need to explain some things to you guys. Those that went through terrible things and they chose to conform, they chose to make themselves smaller out of allowing other people not to do their work. I'm not calling you out to make you feel like shit for it, okay? It's like a preservation thing, a self-preservation. You did it to survive. You too are a warrior in your own right. If you're still on the pathway of doing things that are not in your highest purpose, and you're getting your ass walloped, okay, there's a reason for that. Those of you that chose to do things out of a higher vibrational frequency, and you chose to make amends with yourself, to heal, to forgive, to move forward, to learn the lessons and stuff like that, and you're now being put, let's say, on the wheel of fortune at the top. All right, you're starting to have your justice come in. You're starting to have the blessings come in. It's because collectively we were put in a situation. I don't want to say like there's a specific generation or an age gap or anything like that, but those that were doing things out of a lower vibrational frequency and understood how this all worked energetically, set it in motion. Okay, we're talking decades and centuries ago. They set it in motion so that certain people didn't have to do the work. All right, and now that's all flipping and reversing, and those that are still doing things in a low vibrational state are not going to be able to reign on top anymore, because those of us that went through the pain, went through the torture, went through the trauma, trials, tribulations, carried other people's burdens, and that decided to stand up and said enough's enough, we had to go through certain things. I know this sounds messed up. This isn't going to be how it's going to continue, okay? But there was a process, because there had to be cases built for each and every single one of you, like a development of a case. In your justice, there has to be evidence, so to speak, not just here in the physical, but the 3D, but the astral plane as well. So the fifth dimension and further, the spiritual realm, if you want to call it. There had to be things that had to be built up against these other entities that did not want to learn, so that we can get the justice that we're getting now. And the only way to do that would be to compile evidence. And sometimes that means basically, it's not like we're allowing it, but we kind of did as a collective, to go through the hardships that we went through to gain the evidence that we needed to compile whatever we needed in order to use it for our case, if that makes sense. Okay. So everything that ourselves, myself, other people that have gone through, that chose a higher route, okay, that chose to learn, that accept our shadow side for what it is and what it was to teach us, that forgive what we have gone through and understand there's a bigger purpose here. All right. We know deep down inside there was a reason for it. Those that have accepted the way things have been and the way things are going to change to be, we understand there was a greater purpose. And from my understanding of it, this is what I'm trying to communicate right now, is there was a reason for it. We needed to build the evidence. We needed to have a solid case in order to bring this corruption down, in order to bring certain entities that were reigning on top that didn't want to face that shadow part, that didn't want to look within, that didn't want to do the work. And this is not to hate on them. This is just to bring back in the balance, because things were way out of whack. I don't know if you can agree with me on this, but things were out of whack for a long time. There were people that didn't deserve, especially innocent children, did not deserve to go through it. Now, yes, they may have gone through certain things in a past life, and maybe they have to go through these trials and tribulations in this life. But again, like I said, it was to build a case. If they choose to go on a direction of a lower vibrational state, that's a choice. If they choose to go on a higher vibrational state, that is a choice. It is a journey for each of us to decide what cycles we want to continue, what we want to learn, and what we want to go down, what paths we want to choose. And right now, a lot of us decided that we want a higher vibrational state of being. We want a better earth. Okay, so you could call it the New World Order. You can call it the New Earth. You can call it heaven on earth, whatever it is you want to deem it as. Okay, that's up to you. You can label it however you want. That's not what I'm trying to get through right now. What message I'm trying to deliver is that whatever you suffered, whatever you went through, there was a reason for it. And if you have intuitive abilities, if you're almost like detective-like energy, okay, you are meant to compile evidence, and you are meant to build that evidence. Yes, your integrity should remain intact. Yes, you can decide to take the higher route and be in a higher vibrational state. Yes, you could still be a vessel of love and do things with your heart chakra and do things with connection to source and your inner child. You still had the opportunity to do so. If you decided not to out of fear, that was a conditioning. That's not necessarily your fault. Okay? There is a program that was set in place for certain people not to have to go within. not to do the work. They wanted to reap the rewards. They wanted to get all the good, and they wanted to take from those that they believed to be beneath them, and they believed that weren't strong enough because they chose a more emotional response to the human condition. But it doesn't mean that they necessarily deserve to take from other people's what was their true destiny, or what they were really meant here to be, who they truly were. Each individual has a different purpose, and when you do find your purpose, it is fulfilling, and you get on the right track, things do sync up, things do come into play, things do start to work out for you, miracles do happen to those that believe in themselves. And a lot of people are starting to realize this, and they're choosing a higher vibrational state. They're choosing to love themselves. They're choosing to realize that it's not selfish. It's not egotistical or anything like that, to love themselves unconditionally, truly, with their whole heart, understanding that they have value and worth, and that they should have healthy boundaries with those that maybe are still healing. Okay. And, again, I'm gonna state this again. Whatever you went through was not in vain. If you're still struggling right now, if you're still wondering why things are not working out, and why certain people have stepped away, or why you can't have relationships with certain people, or why you're going through a rough time, or even battling your own inner demons right now, the whole idea of surrender is not to give in to the shadow aspect or just give in to the light aspect. It's to have an understanding. It's to really, truly understand what you went through and what purpose it served. And if it was horrendous things you went through, unspeakable things that you don't want to share with anybody else, even that in itself was not in vain, okay? There was a purpose for it. And those perpetrators, those that do decide to live more out of the shadow side and hurt individuals, especially innocent people, all right, or take advantage of innocent people, or even take advantage of people that are not fully awake and aware yet, there is still a purpose there. This whole thing needs to be brought back into balance. But like I said, if you were to consider this like a judicial system, or like a judge, jury, executioner thing, or even just having proof, evidence, we needed to compile this for certain things to go in this direction, if that makes sense. Some of you fully understand what it is that I'm speaking right now, the words that I'm saying, and you've already used your third eye, and you've gone within, and maybe even you get messages here in the 3D, or you do it more in the spiritual aspect. You do the work when you're sleeping, okay? But there's other people that are not aware of this, and I'm letting you guys know there is hope. Okay, it's not like you're doing this for no reason. It's not like you should give up on yourself. It's not like you should give in and just conform, or do things other people want you to do, or be their bag lady or bag boy to carry their shit. You don't have to. The only thing you're responsible is for yourself, and for you to learn and grow and raise yourself and your elevation in your vibrational frequency up to match the rest of what we all truly collectively want. Because I don't think a lot of people want war. I don't think anybody ever really wanted war, even the most corrupt fucking people. I don't think that was the true goal. The true goal was so that they didn't have to go within and face that pain, that turmoil, that inner hurt child. They didn't want to have to face the things they went through. They didn't even want to look at it. And whatever they could do, some people get desperate, right? It's like a fight or flight, but in this case, it's like a fight. So some people are willing to fight tooth and nail. Some people are willing to go all out and go to the extremes just so that they don't have to visit that, just so that they don't have to do the shadow work, just so they don't have to go within and face that, because it is painful. Even my own healing journey, my experiences, there's some people that went through way worse things. And I almost said waste, like they feel like they have wasted their time, or maybe the divine feels like those vessels it was almost like a waste because they gave up, because it's been purposefully built, this matrix, whatever you want to call it, to make it tough, to make it very difficult, just so that those inner demons don't have to do the healing work, just so they don't have to look at the true reason why they went through what they went through and the lesson that they're supposed to learn from it, just so that there isn't the understanding there or the accountability that needs to be taken. if it makes sense. But they too even are valid. Their existence, both light and shadow side existence, has a purpose for lessons to be learned. No matter what stage you're at, no matter whether you're not awake at all and you come across this and you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? Or you come across this and be like, yes, I understand. I hear you. I understand. And thank you for confirming that for me. Or thank you for just speaking it because I needed to hear it from somebody else, what I already knew inside. And some people come across and maybe they see my video and they're thinking, because they've conformed or they've been conditioned to believe that this sort of thing is just like a hearsay, or it's just like a crazy talk or something like that, that no way could any of this be possible. Believe me when I tell you that this shit is real. And even the stuff that they joke about or play off, I know there's a lot of things that were in commercials or in movies or in the media or anything like that. They really love, some of them, to play it off like this is a joke. Like it's, what do you call that? Like it's fantasy. Like it couldn't possibly be real. But the amount of power that people have in their brains as a collective, when you get them all thinking one way, and the manifestation that comes out of it, the things that we can create good, we can create evil. And when I say evil, it's just the unhealed aspect. That's it. So ultimately what I'm saying here is there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is getting back on the bike. You never forget how to ride a bike once you learn. When you wake up and you lift the veil and you start seeing outside of the matrix and how things are actually working, and you stay calm and you start healing and you're in control of yourself, you master yourself, it's amazing because you don't forget that. You never go backwards. You don't forget. Once you've healed that part of you, you don't forget. And there is a new age right now that we're in, and it is bringing in balance, justice, union, any of the things that were meant to come into be before that were kind of placed on pause a little bit because people learned how to manipulate and figure out how this energy works, and they were using it to their own gain. And the people that have disassociated, disconnected with their inner child, or even emotionally altogether, well, emotions are there for a reason. We're meant to use them to learn certain things and experience the human condition. If you consider them inert or just completely not useful, that's not from a healed standpoint. That's not from somebody that's taken a look at their shadow side and respected both sides and understood both sides. Somebody that feels that emotions are useless have been hurt. Somebody that feels that having feelings or empathy or compassion for another, or maybe even that part of the brain was switched off, have been hurt. And it's weird how our chemical, physiological state of being in the human condition has an effect on the spiritual aspect of it, the 5D and beyond. It's fascinating. This is something I could talk about for hours. Anyways, get back to the point. We needed to build a case for ourselves. When you're struggling and you feel like nobody's listening to you, and I went through this personally on my own, when you're still waking up and you're not understanding fully and you're a little bit confused, or you feel people are all against you, you're not wrong, but you're also not right in the sense that you're just battling them, when really it's just to come from within. And if you get in that state where you're trying so hard to understand, and you're just coming into being, you're just coming into understanding self, and you're getting out of the brainwashing, you're getting out of old programming and all that, your suffering was meant to build a case. So use that to your advantage. Everything that was done to you justfully, okay? Use those specific pieces of evidence, those things that were done, and put the pieces together, the puzzle pieces of why and how everything trickled down, not just from your standpoint, but everybody before you, your past loved ones, your ancestors, your bloodline. Every time you heal, you help heal them. You bring justice in for them too. And they're on your side too. You've got tons of people, a whole freaking army. If you're a warrior, you made it this far. Some people gave up. Some people couldn't do it. But like I said, it was built that way for a reason, to make it difficult for us not to come into this high vibrational state. But we've already gotten past that. People are already seeing past the veil. And like I said, you don't forget. You don't forget once you've healed. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Okay. If you're in a circumstance, even just something as mundane as a work situation, and people are bullying you or whatever, build a solid case, get the evidence. Do not react emotionally right off the bat. Understand your emotions are there to feel, and you can express yourself, but you have to have control of you first, okay? Don't let other people manipulate and toy with you because they know they could play with your emotions. You're in control of you. You're a vessel, as in a boat or a car or a plane, whatever you want to call it. You are carrying all that DNA and information. You are in control of you, your own energy. Okay, stand in your authenticity. Find out what you like. Know what you dislike. Find out what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. Set your healthy boundaries. Love yourself. Okay? Love you. Please do.